Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel for another brand new Star Wars The Black Series action figure review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new figure of Embo that's just been released from the Mandalorian and Grogu. Starting off with the packaging, as always, standard Black Series box that we're all very familiar with at this point. It's got the purple colour to show that it's from the Mandalorian and Grogu subline, along with the character name just at the bottom right of the window there. And then on the side, of course, we've got the now traditional mural artwork, which is then repeated on the back of the box, alongside a brief description about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Okay, so taking a look at the figure itself now. First of all, apologies if you can hear a little interruption with the sound. It's very warm today, so I have to have my fan on, but I don't think it should impede on the quality of the review. But again, apologies. I'm not going to be talking spoilers for the movie in this video, although it has been out for a few weeks, so watch at your own discretion just in case one happens to slip out. But here's Embo from the Mandalorian and Grogu. What a fantastic figure, and in my opinion he's the pick of this new wave. Very nicely detailed, and overall from a character perspective he is a very nice translation of an animated character through into live action, which is great to see once again. So without further ado, let's take a look at the details on this guy. So we'll start from the top. Yeah, as you can see, he's got his trademark hat on, which this guy is known for. Very nicely detailed with some gunmetal colours, some slight weathering as well on the in-between sections, which is really cool to see, as he does use this as a shield in both the Clone Wars and the Mandalorian and Grogu, so it would naturally be very dirty and dinged up. I will remove that later on in the video to give you a proper look at that head sculpt. And then speaking of gunmetal, it is a coloured theme throughout the rest of the figure. He has it featured on the chest armour there, along with some little greeblies. A main complaint about the live action translation of this guy, unfortunately, is that he's missing his emblem, his red emblem on his chest there, which is very sad. I don't understand why they omit those details for the live action translations. It is a noticeable theme throughout a few of the other characters that have made the crossover in recent years. But alas, it's not there on the movie model, so it's not present on the figure. Although Hasbro's got the sculpt now, maybe we'll get a Clone Wars repaint of this guy in the future, who knows. Just continuing on with the figure though, as you can see, you can just make out his beady little eyes under there, which is what I really like about the hat. I would just like to mention, as you've got a little bit of freedom with how this friction fits onto the head, so you can get him looking just as though he's peeking from under the brim, as you would see Embo doing oh so often in the Clone Wars, and as you see him do in the movie. Let's have a look at the details on the arms. Lots of nice texturing and shades of green have been used to pick out this guy's amphibious-like limbs. Very slender, very accurate, really cool. Lots of nice sculpting work there, which the painter's accenting very well. Small little wrap around his bicep, and then he's got the fingerless gloves on his hands. All the fingers are actually individual on this guy, which is awesome to see, just accentuating that alien detail. And then on the other arm, it's pretty much the same, but he's got a silver or gunmetal gauntlet there. Following down from the chest armour, he's also got his bandolier with his small slots of ammunition there, very similar to the Mandalorian. That's also then repeated around the belt, which has a few details picked out in different colours. Just nice to see some variation there. And then coming to the bottom of the figure, you can see his waist cape, his skirt piece if you will. Not been recreated with soft goods, which is nice to see, as if it was you would lose all this fantastic sculpting. It seems to be a very heavy leather type material in universe from how it's been recreated here for the figure, and the sculpting detail has really accentuated that. It really does look like a weathered piece of leather. You know, this guy rarely changes outfit. We haven't actually seen him wear any other clothes, so this has been with him, and it's seen its fair share of action, it's safe to say. So that has been recreated very nicely with the details there. The brown section, that's textured independently to recreate the pattern as seen on the on-screen counterpart. Nice attention to detail, but nothing too extreme. And then the legs are just a straight black plastic from the thigh moving into the knee. And then he's got his boots there, which look like they're lots of individual wraps that then come down to the foot. A few laces there have been sculpted, which is very nice to see. And then just the toes of the boot there, very nicely detailed and picked out in grey. But this guy is as detailed as any Black Series figure would currently be in modern collections. Really, really cool, and definitely one for any Clone Wars fan, or fan of the Mandalorian and Grogu, in my opinion. As you can see there, just whilst I've got him at that angle, the chest piece is nicely textured and has a few different colours going on, again just to show the weathered appearance of this guy. So now we'll move on to accessories and take a look at what this guy comes with. So Embo's first accessory is one that he would not be complete without, and that is of course his bowcaster. Something you don't actually see him use in The Mandalorian and Grogu. I've seen the film 3 times now, so I've got to the point where I'm trying to pick out little details, just so I can get a little bit of posing inspiration for my action figures, and you don't see him fire this once, you only see him use it in the melee form, which we'll touch on in a little bit. However, this figure would not be complete without it, of course, so Hasbro have very kindly included this, and it probably was featured as an asset when Lucasfilm gave Hasbro material to work from. I believe there's a Topps card where you can just about make out that Embo's holding this. So a worthy inclusion, very nice to see. And it does have some articulated parts. So this is how it would traditionally be set up. There are a few Clone Wars episodes where you can make out the correct positioning of the front of the bow there. These do fold up and articulate independently on 2 different hinges. Unfortunately, there's no way to peg this onto his back, which is where Embo would traditionally store it. So, in my opinion, sort of a redundant feature, as if it's in his hand, he's going to have it activated and ready to strike. It is all just cast in a black plastic besides the handle. That's been done in a brown paint. Small piece of variation, but still nice to see. But definitely a sculpt that was begging for some sort of dry brushing. Yeah, just a little bit flat in my opinion, but it's not the end of the world. The camera is tricking you there. It does look more detailed than it is in terms of the colour. That's just the lighting, unfortunately. That's what I was just trying to figure out whilst I was stuttering over my words there. But yeah, Embo's bowcaster, very, very nice. Just moving that out of the way. He also includes the sides of the crossbow, which of course he dismounts and uses them as melee weapons to fight against Din Djarin during the 3rd act of the Mandalorian film. Really cool. These are probably what I'm going to be displaying him with. I'll just show you one of these in his hand so you can see how well he holds them, which I was initially worried about, as the vintage collection version of this guy comes with interchangeable hands, but due to this guy's tight grip and individual fingers, he will hold these in both hands very, very securely. And then the final accessory, if you can count it as an accessory, is of course his hat. That does come off. He can hold it and use it as a shield. Very cool. Wouldn't be complete without it, of course. And then I will just give you a closer look at that head sculpt there, as promised. Really, really cool Kuzo Bounty Hunter Embo. Very accurate. Exactly how we've come to know him over the years of his inclusion in different Star Wars projects. Whether it be the Clone Wars or some of the comics, and now the Mandalorian and Grogu. This guy seems to be somewhat of a staple. A lot of people complain and say that Filoni's using his favourite toys again, but I've always liked Embo since I was a kid, so I'm very happy to see him get some modern love across these different productions and, of course, within the Black Series. So we're just going to leave his hat off for the meantime as we run through articulation on this guy. He's got a ball jointed head and neck, and there's this scarf piece which sits independent, so you can move that around along with the head, as that is covering his chin area. Again, very accurate to his appearance and part of that ominous silhouette of which he casts whenever he's on screen. So that will help you out with a variety of poses, and it's really nice to see Hasbro go that extra mile once again. Very similar to how they've started doing shoulder pads and knee pads for the clone troopers. Nothing in the chest on this guy from what I can see, but he does have a ball joint at the waist with some moderate range. He's got butterfly joints up there, if you can just make out the cut in the sculpt. And he's got ball hinges at the shoulders, at the elbows there, and then we've got the ball jointed, roly-poly style wrists that everybody loves to see these days. Very cool, and that does make it very, very easy to get Embo to hold his bowcaster with both hands if that's what you want. Again, lots of options for display. There are ball joints at the hips, and because this is a new figure, there's no thigh cut, unfortunately, but I'll try and do my best to demonstrate it. It's very difficult due to the skirt piece, but there is decent movement at the thigh to substitute for that rotation. He's got ball hinges in the knees and then ball hinged ankles with the rocker joint. So as far as Black Series figures go, he's got the most recent articulation, is very up to date, and is by no means being robbed. Would have been nice to have that thigh swivel. I know a lot of people still miss it. I'm warming up to the idea of it not being necessary, I must say. I think a lot of the more up-to-date and current figures are providing a lot more range on that ball joint at the hip, and it does make for some more natural poses. Just coming to the end of the review now on Embo from the Mandalorian and Grogu. What a fantastic figure, whether you're a Clone Wars fan or you enjoyed the Mandalorian and Grogu movie and you've been collecting the Black Series figures from it. This guy will look at home in either display, so a must-have figure in my opinion, and one of the Black Series best for 2026. But let me know, guys, if you're going to pick this one up. Drop a comment below, let me know what you think. I hope I've given you a good look at this guy. I'm a little bit rusty, it's been a while since my last review, so thank you for bearing with me. Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out my Instagram page, as there will be a HD gallery of this guy available at the time of the review going live. And until next time, may the Force be with you, always.